Hello YouTube and welcome to the Indie Evolution channel. I'm InGamer and today we're going to be continuing our Let's Play of Dead State with episode 5. In episode 4 we ended by breaking into a house that was surrounded by the undead. The undead were out here in the front portion of the property. We snuck around the back through the back door. We failed to see the sign that said stay out. We made our way into the house, at which time the hostile survivor here, or probably the former homeowner, opened fire on us and we were forced to take him down. In the process we did receive a shotgun and a leather jacket that I gave to Joel, our former police officer, as loot. So a worthwhile excursion. Unfortunate that we had to haven't had much of an opportunity, any opportunities really, to interact with other survivors outside of combat, and that's something that I'm kind of looking forward to as the game progresses. I don't know how much of that is going to be featured in this 7-day demo. At the end of the last episode, I did promise you guys that we would be making our way to the house with the ominous all dead inside graffiti on the exterior, and that is where our survivors are headed now. Get in just a little tighter here. And again, we're going to be using our right click to bring up our lockpick tool. We've had a couple of doors that we weren't able to open with our lockpick. If you can't open them with your lockpick, you're going to have to bash them open, and that's going to attract some unwanted attention. So always try to use the lockpick as a first option. And you know, for the most part up until now, Joel has kind of been my man out in front, but Joel's attacks really haven't been too effective. I don't know if it's just the luck of the draw, but he's had a bad tendency to miss the target. So we're going to go ahead and let Brian DoubleBear take the lead position, and we'll grab a couple of food items here out of the refrigerator. So far, the items that we have found in loot locations have been what you would expect to find in those locations. Whoa! You find those guys in the darndest places, and a lot of the time they do end up getting the drop on you guys. And I don't honestly know what I could have done to avoid it. And also another kind of tricky element to the game is that Renee, our medic, actually has the highest perception skill, which gives her the highest initiative. That kind of leads us into some problems because the person who I like to put out in front, either Joel or Brian, often makes first contact. So her high initiative hasn't really been that great of a benefit to us yet. But we're going to see if we can. I do try not to use gunfire when I can avoid it, but I feel like we're in a pretty secure location, even though we did leave the front door open. So I'm going to go ahead and fire a shot. Hopefully the noise doesn't carry maybe that far outside of the home. But we will find out the consequences of our actions here shortly, because I do want to start getting her as the person with the first initiative involved in combat. And there's our shot. We can see in our combat log that we did 25 damage. And we'll just move her out of the way. We can see we've got him badly wounded here. No need for anything fancy. We will just go with the basic attack. And the dead man is dead. Good job, guys. Pack of cigarettes. Good luxury item to help help keep our survivors in high spirits. And that'll end the combat round. Now, was that door open prior? I wasn't paying as close attention as I should have been. It almost looked like maybe the zombie opened this door, but maybe the zombie came out of this room. I didn't see where it emerged from. We're going to go ahead and use our hammer here, which is our weapon that has the low amount of attack points. Doesn't do a lot of damage. And we'll try it again. And we got 16 out of that. That's actually the maximum for that weapon. So, and we'll now move Renee back so that she doesn't feel the brunt of a counterattack. Okay. Joel, we're going to move in tight with him. We're going to use the push attack to try to knock the zombie backwards. And the push attack, what it really does is it just forces the zombie to use, well, it can be for positioning purposes, which I can see how that could be useful, and I'll try to make use of it if I run into a combat scenario where I can. But it also pushes the zombie backwards, so you basically spend one additional action point to force the enemy then to spend one action point closing the distance to get back to you. I can see it being useful knocking a zombie inside of a doorway and then closing the door if you're outnumbered or you're going to get overwhelmed. And we'll get Joel close enough to the action. Okay, I don't know if that's a glitch, but apparently that is the case. The zombies are, kind of like the news flash in Night of the Living Dead. The dead are rising and opening doors. So they are actually opening the doorways, which I find to be a little, that's a little kind of gamey to me. This isn't meant to be a realistic simulation of, of the, shit hits the fan scenario. This isn't meant to be a realistic simulation. It has some very gaming for the sake of, elements that exist for the sake of it being a game, and just making it fun or making it challenging. But zombies opening doors, I don't know. That seems like they're going a little too far. I think the zombie should at least have to bash down the doorway. And maybe that's something that they do plan to change later on. Like I said, this is a very early build. There's no completed game here. Okay, so we have a 70% to hit. I'm thinking just to go ahead and take our swing. We can get off 2 swings here. Wow, nice. And that looks like that was a critical strike. If we look in our combat log, we actually took her down in 1 hit. And that was 66 points of damage. So a little over double the weapon's potential for the critical strike. I did read in the information from the developers that in this game critical strikes are considered to be not only critical strikes but also head strikes, because when you attack a zombie you are aiming for the head. So that is what accounted for the bonus damage that we got there. Also, another tidbit of information that I did get since episode 4. There are not, even though I just mentioned that there are some gamey elements to this, there is no respawning loot. Once loot is acquired from a location, that's it. That loot will not respawn. It won't be back in that area again. So that does give a certain amount of realism to the game. That there are a finite amount of resources. The demo that we have today is only 7 days. You know, how that world with finite resources plays into your ability to survive long term, I am not exactly sure. However, we have, on that same note, we have exhausted this area by searching all 3 houses. I don't believe there's anything else here that we could look into. I don't think we missed anything. So with that kind of comes in another abstract game element, I guess I would say, is that you can see now we are relatively close to the stronghold when we are scavenging. As these areas become depleted, it will become necessary for us to venture out even farther. Whether this game is kind of level based, where everything close to the stronghold is maybe the shallow end of the water, and everything farther away from the stronghold is gradually increasing in difficulty. I'm not sure if that's how they've done it. We'll probably get a sense or a feel for that as we go through the demo, as we go through our 7 days. Also, guys, this is episode, just to give you an idea of what you do get with the early access demo, this is episode 5 that we're on right now. This is still day 1 though. We're not on day 5. So all the content you've seen so far in the game, you know, represents less than 1 day. Okay. And some food items here. This looks like an old abandoned grocery store. Obviously, you know, we're not the first looters to arrive on the scene. This is an area. Oh, wait a second. This is an area that has been picked clean already. And we'll go through the door here. And something that is insect ridden. We will take the jar of mayonnaise, which is a perishable item. And I believe I just took the insects as well. Okay. Before we go out on the main street, I believe I saw another door that's accessible from this safe area, so we will do that first. And I don't know if I mentioned this in a prior Let's Play or not, but it seems to me that because in this game you do not get any experience points. It's an RPG style game. We haven't gotten really into the RPG elements yet, but this is an RPG. So there is, you know, that issue of character development, that these characters will gradually improve in skill as they go. You will not get any points towards improving skills from combat. You will only get skills to or points to improve your skills and your attributes through completing missions. That to me in an RPG drastically, sorry guys, just taking a look around, drastically changes your approach to the game. And I'll tell you why. Because attacks on zombies if they're close up in melee, you're probably going to take some damage. And in taking that damage, you're going to need to use medical supplies to heal that damage. Again, there are finite resources in the game, and the more resources you use, the farther you have to travel eventually to get more resources, because you will deplete the resources near you. So the more combat you engage in, the more medical supplies you're going to use for very little reward. There is no real reward for killing these zombies in the game. So, that's kind of my approach, because you guys may have seen in my playthroughs, if there's ever an opportunity for me just to circumvent a confrontation, I'm going to take that opportunity. I'm not going to waste what little resources my survivors have on unnecessary combat, against the undead. So that's just explaining to you a little bit of my approach to the game. And right now this is the downtown area. We just walked through City Hall, local grocery store. There's a diner and a bar that we just went through. And it looks like across the street here, an interesting building, that is the police station. So we will save the exploration of the police station, hoping to find some weapons, maybe some body armor. Hopefully we're not going to find overcrowded holding cells filled with the resurrected corpses of petty thieves and drug dealers. But if that is what we run across, we will deal with the situation at that time. So once again, guys, Indie Evolution channel, I'm In Gamer. This is episode 5 of Dead State. Don't forget to click the icon in the bottom right hand corner of your screen. Tune in and check out episode 6. We're going to be making our way into the police station. In Gamer, Indie Evolution, I am signing off.